Hello and welcome to another episode. I'm Kate Pearce, our founder of Nutrition Queensland, and in this episode we're going to be talking about my bread and butter. I shouldn't really say bread and butter because we're trying to reduce the amount of bread. We can up the amount of butter, that's all good. But yeah, obviously remember, bread turns to sugar and that is not what we want. So in this episode, it is my bread and butter though. We're going to be talking about belly weight because that is something in my 20s, even in my 30s, up to about the point of maybe, I'm going to say 40, which is pretty incredible. I never had a defined waistline. It was almost just straight down. So if I've never been big, I will totally own that, but I certainly never had a defined waistline, and I sort of had more of like belly weight going on. And I thought I was doing all the right things. Back then I was vegan, wasn't eating any processed sugar, but I was eating lots of starches. So starches are what we call carbs. So like I was eating heaps of lentils, heaps of, good quality, really good quality bread like sourdough, gluten-free pasta. I was having all the healthy sugars like honey, maple syrup, agave syrup, dates, coconut sugar, all the sugars that we're told are really healthy. So I was having heaps of that, not much protein, not much fat at all. I guess I was having a bit of fiber because obviously I was vegetarian, so I was eating a lot of vegetables and salads and stuff, but I was certainly eating way too many starches, but I didn't realize that was causing belly weight around my stomach. And I had this, as I said, all through my 20s and all through my 30s, and it wasn't until I learned about the power of setting your blood sugar level that everything completely changed. So this podcast is all about the biggest mistake you can make when you're trying to lose that belly weight and get sort of that defined waist back and a flat belly. So I'm 42 now, I'll be 43 nearing the end of this year, and my body's just never been this toned, and I'm actually doing less exercise, which is absolutely it blows me away sometimes. I do lift weights, which I never did in the past, and that is massive when it comes to toning your body, helping to remove sugar out of your blood. So that's awesome, but I'm definitely not doing as much cardio as that I used to, but I have a much more defined waistline. So as I said, it's about the biggest mistake you can make about losing belly weight, and it's not about skipping cardio day, and it's not the mistake of missing sit-up day. It's actually nothing you can do at the gym that's really going to help you to get a flat stomach. And the trouble is, I see so many people struggling with this. I see them at the gym, thrashing it out on the treadmill, running, doing all the classes, running on the strand, both men and women I see it in, and it's obviously a common complaint that I get from a lot of my clients. They're just wondering why they can't remove this stubborn belly fat. And here's the truth, it's all about insulin, which is what I bang on about all the time. And when we have high insulin, again, insulin is a hormone that your body releases when you eat like a starchy or sugary food. Completely normal process. It helps to take the sugar out of the blood and put it into the cells, which is awesome. But the trouble is this insulin spike is happening all the time because we're being told to have, little constant frequent meals throughout the day, and that just causes havoc on your hormones, and it will prevent you from losing belly weight. Because if you think about it, if you're snacking breakfast, then you have a morning tea, then you have a lunch, then you have an afternoon tea, then you have tea, then you have like a dessert, you're going insulin spike, insulin spike, insulin spike. And it's absolutely impossible for your body to store fat while there's insulin in your bloodstream. So the number one mistake is not that you've skipped sit-ups or cardio day, it's that you've got these constant insulin spikes going on. And the trouble with these, say, accumulated insulin spikes, meaning they're not just happening here and there, they're happening all the time, all throughout the day, is it triggers brain fog. It absolutely destroys your sleep, and it makes you pee all night, which again, it interrupts your sleep. And the reason it destroys your sleep is because your body's trying to deal with the up and down of the sugar high. Because if you have something really sweet before bed, you'll get this spike in insulin, in blood sugar. It's going to crash down. It's going to sort of wake you up. Same with needing to go to the bathroom all night. Your kidneys are trying to flush out the excess sugar, which is what can wake you up. And to be honest, as we get older, we need amazing, beautiful quality sleep, which is mean we really need to decrease our carbs and our sugars so that we can sort of balance this blood sugar level out and stop all the constant spikes. So that's what is actually referred to. When you hear the term insulin resistance, it just means that your cells are so sick of having to deal with this sugar and the insulin that's trying to get the sugar into the cells that they just sort of give up, like they're just tired of working. So they just kind of close their doors and they're like, nah, no more sugar. So if the sugar cannot go into your cells, it stays in your bloodstream, right? Which is what manifests as type 2 diabetes. You might get a blood test, you've got high sugar. That's because your cells have had enough. They're so tired of opening the doors and letting the sugar in. And often they're really full as well. And they're just like, nah, don't want a bar of it. And that's what's called insulin resistance. So your cells are resisting the insulin and they're putting it away, pushing it away. But the beautiful thing is you can absolutely turn that around because you just need to give your body a break. Everything starts to balance out. And then your cells can actually start opening the doors again and letting the sugar in and everything can balance out. But it really has to start with limiting that snacking. And so it's not really about eating less, it's about eating less often. So I often say to people, have a big beautiful breakfast, have a big beautiful lunch, and then have a big beautiful dinner. But as adults, we really don't need to be snacking in between. Same as like drinking coffee all day, or just having a cracker here and there. You might think, oh, a cracker's not going to do anything, a protein bar's not going to do anything, but just think every single time you snack, you're putting that insulin up and your body just can't get into fat burning mode. So that's why you'll struggle with belly weight and not being able to lose it. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you missed sit-up day or you're not running enough or burning the fat off. It's just simply you've got too much insulin going around and too much sugar. It just stores weight. That's just what it does. So what would like an ideal day look like to sort of balance out your blood sugar level and keep that insulin low? Well, you all know me. I sort of bang on about having a savory breakfast, one that's lower in the starches, lower in the carbs, and contains more protein and more healthy fats. I have a beautiful online course called Fuel Your Fire. It's like 30 days to a lighter, clearer, energized you. And in that, I give a beautiful breakdown of how much protein is in a certain amount of foods to help you get up and actually be able to make a breakfast that sort of hits like that 20 to 30 grams of protein in the morning. Because what you do, if you have protein and healthy fat in the morning, it keeps you so full, it's crazy. So a lot of my clients will change from having, say, Wheat Bix, a piece of toast or something, and they switch it up to a higher protein and higher fat breakfast, and they're like, hey, I wasn't even hungry at all until lunch. I wasn't even hungry till like 1-2 o'clock. That is absolutely perfect, because if you can do that from breakfast, your body gets to sort of balance out, clean out, there's no insulin spikes all the way through to lunch, and your body can start to get into that fat burning mode, which is absolutely beautiful. So again, it's not about deprivation or starving yourself or wishing you could have something. It's just really about prioritizing protein, healthy fats, and fiber. And again, I'm talking about the fibrous vegetables that are pretty much anything except potato, pumpkin, sweet potato, and corn, because they're high in sugar. So they're going to increase your blood sugar level, so that's going to pop your insulin up. So I never ever say to people, like, cut out a whole complete food group, like never have carbs again. It's just not what I'm going to do. I don't even live like that. I get some beautiful, it's a really high quality bread from the organic shop. It's gluten free, it's made of almond meal, psyllium husk, and a few things like that. And there's absolutely some mornings when all I want is a piece of toast with butter on it, or avocado on it, or just something but just something really warming. And there'll be nights, of course there'll be nights when we're having spag bol with the kids. Often I just will skip the pasta because I don't really need it. I've got into a beautiful habit and it just makes me feel better when I skip it, and I'll have the spag bol on the side with veggies or salad. But there's some nights where I'm just like, yep, want the pasta, and I have zero problem in doing that. I get a lentil pasta, optimal for gluten free, because it just, I don't know, I'm not allergic to it at all, but it's just what I do. I think probably if everyone skipped back on the gluten, we'd all be a little bit healthier, just from the fact that it's sprayed heavily with so much stuff. So I just get some lentil pasta, and that completely satisfies me. So I really don't live in a world at all where I deprive myself. I have what I want, but I really have developed such powerful, healthy habits that I don't even really need it or think about it too much. But of course, when I want it, I do. I'll also go out for a pizza with the girls, no problem at all. I don't really have much sugar, to be honest, but I'm certainly not afraid of it. If there was a birthday party and they were having cake and they gave me some, absolutely I'd eat it, I'd enjoy it. But over time, my desire for sugar has definitely increased because I'm just hitting my protein requirements and my nutrition requirements, and my body is so happy. So that's a beautiful place to get in. So you don't have to do this perfectly at all, but they just need to take a really big backseat if you're serious about toning up your body and losing that belly weight. You really want to prioritize on the protein, the fats, and the fiber. Put them above everything else, and just occasionally have the starches, a nice piece of bread, a nice bit of pasta. It's just not every single day. We don't want to be hitting our body with this high sugar food because it's going to be insulin. And remember, insulin is what prevents us from burning fat, at all. It just won't happen. So I'll keep this podcast relatively short. That was just something that I really wanted to touch on because someone said it to me the other day at the gym. Kate, I just can't lose belly weight no matter what I'm doing in the gym. And I think that's really powerful and really important. And remember, if you're just slogging it out, especially women, I find at the gym, running, you can actually increase your stress hormone, you can increase your cortisol, and it can have the opposite effect again. So high cortisol also stops us from burning fat, and it creates, they call it that cortisol belly, which a lot of women develop through menopause and after menopause and through all the hormonal changes. So if it's my one word of advice, it's of course keep going to the gym. Exercise is incredible for us. I'm the biggest advocate of lifting weights. I think that's probably the most powerful for everyone, but it's really honing down on how much sugar you're having and how much carbs you're having. And you really want to bring it right back to the point where you might go 3 or 4 days without any carbs. Then of course you can have some, but it's just lowering it as much as you can. And remember, the biggest gap that we can have between our meals, the better off you're going to feel. Because again, when you've got this high blood sugar level spike, you're going to crash, you're going to lose energy, and you're going to get that 3 p.m. slump. They say when you get home from work or whatever and you're just wrecked and you look for a coffee or you just look for something, you can't be bothered making dinner, you're moody, you're crabby. It's all to do with insulin and blood sugar level spikes. I rarely get moody, to be honest. I'm 42, I've got 2 kids, and I genuinely believe it's because I'm very balanced inside and not too much rattles me, but I have done a lot of mindset work as well. So I'm going to make so many more podcasts on the power of calming our mind down and our body down and treating life a little less seriously. So I did touch on that in the previous podcast, and I am going to delve a lot further into it. For one, I just love it, and for 2, I think it balances out nutrition and health. You can't have one without the other almost. Like I said in the other podcast, if you're running around heaps of cortisol, heaps of stress, no matter what you're eating, you're not going to see much results. So again, it's just about relaxing, calming, releasing trapped energy. Oh, that's another podcast for another day. But there's a lot to it. But the first thing is balance that blood sugar level. And I just cannot believe, I rarely do sit-ups, that's the honest truth. I do weights at the gym, and of course they naturally target all my muscle groups, but I've got the best six-pack that I've ever had in my entire life, and I'm 42, and I contribute that to a really low sugar, a really low starchy, carby diet, but without cutting it out completely. I will have a glass of alcohol here and there. As I said, I'll have a pizza, I'll have a piece of cake. Certainly not afraid of sugar, but I just let it take a really big backseat. So I'll leave it there for this episode. You can always check out my blog. That's on my website, and it has so many more articles about insulin and how you can release it. But my biggest advice to you is if you're just ready to get started straight away and you want a meal plan, you want how much protein is in breakfast and in how much foods, and you want to delve deeper into insulin and how you can just lose weight and feel so much better and ditch the brain fog, I highly encourage you to check out my new online program, which is called 30 Days to a Lighter, Clearer, Energized You. It's all about just fueling your fire, getting that zest back for life, getting your mojo back really, because it 100% worked for me. So feel free to check that out. The web address is just www.nutritionqueensland.com/ignite, as if we're gonna ignite your fire. And I've had beautiful comments from it. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it's a self-paced course designed to run over 30 days, beautifully priced for now. And yeah, that would be honestly my next step if you're really serious about getting your weight under control, your energy under control, and just getting your life back in a sense. Always here, of course, if you want a once-off consultation, and of course I do offer a 3-month package, which is proven highly successful because you've got me in your corner for 3 months, and we just work out an absolutely beautiful strategic plan for you. That's the most important part. Anyway, I shall leave it there for today. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm actually heading off to the Gold Coast tomorrow. I have more plastic surgery, reconstructive surgery coming up. My journey still continues with my face, but we just crack on. And I'm super excited to be heading down there. So have a beautiful day, guys, and I shall see you soon.